For the opportunity for us to work together to take our dialogue into action. We're grateful to you for presenting your demands, and we look forward to working with you to move forward. President Pastides is out of town at the APLU meeting. This is the largest organization of public and land-grant universities, and the meeting is in Indianapolis, so he sends his regrets that he cannot be here. The top agenda item of that meeting is diversity, inclusion, and free speech. In fact, the president of the APLU stated at the meeting's outset yesterday that a core value of public universities is an environment that is open, safe, and inclusive so all students can learn and grow. And as I'm sure you know, President Obama recently commended university students for thoughtful, peaceful protests as a means of bringing about change. Our president agrees and hears you loud and clear and is engaged with you. He affirms your right to be heard, as does all the administration, and the importance of addressing the issues that you've raised and the demands that you've made. When the president returns, he's already set to work with several established groups, including the University Diversion and Inclusion Advisory Committee, which is comprised of students, faculty, administrators, and alumni representatives, the Community Advisory Committee, and the President's Student Advisory Committee, among others. We're also underway on the development of a campus climate dashboard so that we can transparently assess whether and how we are moving forward together on this very important set of issues. And on that note, we'd like to invite a representative group of student leaders, just because of space constraints, to come inside and speak with us if they would like to.
One of our concerns is that these small group dialogues haven't yielded the kind of transparency and the kind of responses that we need from a university. So we'd rather not do that, strictly speaking, because we came here together and it's all of our university, and so we all want to be a part of that conversation. We no longer want to be in the position where we are restricted to having small pockets of people speaking for us. A lot of us have had the opportunities to sit on these committees. We've had the opportunity to be a part of these dialogues. And while, yes, they're useful, that's all we ever get. And so what we want is answers. And so while we really appreciate your statement, we would really like to hear a timeline as to when we can see these things happen.
No divide and conquer.
There's no divide and conquer intended. We're very glad to talk with all of you collectively. We can begin to work together on a timeline. It will vary according to what you've asked for, some of which are underway, some of which need a lot more work. But we want to work together to make it happen, including the development of the timeline in an inclusive way so that we can all make sure that we're working together transparently. The best way we'll be able to assess that is once we get the dashboard and the campus climate materials set. That process is already underway, and we would work together to make sure that what we're measuring is aligned with what we want to accomplish. And when the president returns, we can start to work in a very focused way on setting the calendar for that so that we can report back to you on how that process would actually happen. Okay, thank you all very much for coming.
We have a question.
Sure.
In the event that we have this dialogue, can we have representatives from the Association of Black Journalists who are here to broadcast this discussion?
I think we have to confirm that we have the capacity for that in the room that we're set up in, but I don't...
We have a dialogue outside.
Well, the dialogue was intended to be inside on the phone with the people who aren't here today. So that's the only challenge to doing it outside.
So then, when the president does return, can we expect a town hall so that all of us may be present to hear what he has to say?
That we can absolutely commit to is a town hall conversation that anyone who wants to participate in and represent their views on collectively, individually, or otherwise, we're very happy to do.
Does anyone have any other concerns they'd like to raise?
Now's the time to speak. We're here.
We have 70 black faculty at this university and lost 7 in the last 2 years.
One of those will be Okay.
Carly, I have a question.
All right.
There's been dialogue. I've been here for 6 long years of my undergrad. It's been a very long time. There's been talk of this happening, of issues that have been on these demands for the past 6 years. How do we know that change is actually going to happen and that you're not just trying to get rid of the crowd that's pressing you in front of you?
How do we know that the change has been doing this for 6 years? How do we know that the change that they're asking for isn't going to take another 6 years to happen? That it's going to happen?
The best way that we ensure that things move forward is through an inclusive and transparent process. And that means that we get together and we talk and we measure and we move. And we're doing active steps to engage in that. It starts with dialogue and then it moves from dialogue to action, and we measure whether that action works through a transparent climate dashboard. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Well, I have a different question. So with the question that she asked earlier, I'm not sure if maybe it just didn't come out the way we intended. You said that you wanted to sit down with a small group of students. So if we did agree to have the small group of students that will fit in the space that you all have, what we're asking is it okay if there is someone from ABJ, which is basically one of the largest organizations that can get out information to the African American students here? Is it okay if they also sit in and are able to live tweet and keep everyone else up to date, so it's not just simply us speaking for everybody, so everybody being
Yes.
Okay, that was the question from earlier.
Yes.
When can we expect President Pastides to return? When is the town hall going to be? Is it going to be this semester, or is it going to be pushed?
We will work as hard as we can to make sure that
as
it
soon as
happens
possible.
as soon as it possibly can. The challenge that we have is the president's schedule, but this is a priority for him, so we'll make sure that it gets addressed.
We need a date set.
Yeah, we need a date.
That date should have been established before you guys came out here today. You knew we were going to be here.
And the day needs to be soon, not pushed back.
Because we know how these dialogues go. We're in these meetings. We know.
Finals week is in 2 weeks. Thanksgiving break is next week. We should be able to have a dialogue with the president pretty much as soon as he returns.
This should be a priority.
Yeah, definitely.
This should have been a priority.
It is a priority.
It should be his #1 priority when he returns for his students.
I would also add that clearly we're going to be meeting with the university's diversity committee on Thursday. Many of our student leaders are representatives on this committee, and these are the kinds of things that, as Chief Diversity Officer, I'm absolutely engaged in on behalf of the President, on behalf of the university, and on behalf of you. I recognize that change has taken a long time for many of you, and change may not necessarily happen right around the corner. It may not happen tomorrow, but there are things that we're already working on that are in complete alignment with the request that you've made, and we want to continue to explore ways that we can continue to have this dialogue to make these significant changes that are meaningful not only for you but for all of us.
How do you